Dhoni during COVID.
Well, so we're live, okay, and we did think in recent times that the chaos surrounding the Asia Cup and its schedule was a thing of the past. We got a skeletal idea of what the schedule would look like, what the hybrid model would look like, what would be the neutral location, and that is until a regime change took place in the Pakistan Cricket Board, and now allegedly we're getting to hear that this hybrid model may not very well be something that the new regime are, let's say, too keen on now at this point.
So first things first, the new regime, of course, Najam Sethi, a veteran administrator, a journalist, and politically also he's a well-connected man. So he took over in November, December after Ramiz Raja, should I say, was removed, or he stepped down as the PCB chairman. Najam Sethi took over. And there was a bit of confusion as to where the Asia Cup will happen, because BCCI, you would remember, had already made it loud and clear in November after that AGM. In fact, Board Secretary Jai Shah had said that India will not travel to Pakistan. I think that is when the entire fixture and this Asia Cup scheduling was thrown into turmoil. And thereafter, Najam Sethi had proposed a formula, as in the hybrid format, which was accepted recently, and the Asian Cricket Council had also issued a statement that first 4 matches of this Asia Cup, which is I think going to start as per
September
the
1st.
Sorry, I think 17th August to
1st to 17th September, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, I think 31st of August to
Yes, 31st.
31st of August to
31st,
17th of September, and first 4 matches will be played in Pakistan. Thereafter, the tournament moves to Sri Lanka. That is, the remaining 9 matches will then be played in Sri Lanka. Now, everything seemed, it seemed that everything was back on track, but now Najam Sethi is no longer the PCB chairman. Not officially, because the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who's actually the patron-in-chief of PCB, the Pakistan Cricket Board, has nominated a couple of names, and Zaka Ashraf most likely is going to become the next chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board. As Shane also said earlier, there is a possibility. I don't know whether if there is a possibility or not, but Zaka Ashraf is not too keen on this hybrid model for the Asia Cup. So what happens next?
At this point, I don't know. Isn't it a bit embarrassing from the PCB, from the Pakistan Cricket Board, that they're, kind of, I understand that a new regime is coming in, but then being so conflicting with your decisions, it just says a lot about you as a board, as figureheads, because your Pakistan was so keen on having this hybrid model, and even tensions were raised with Sri Lanka as to why they came forward with that hybrid model, why they wanted to host the rest of the tournament, when Pakistan wanted the whole tournament to happen in either Pakistan or half of it in Dubai, if I'm not wrong.
UAE, yeah.
UAE, yes. But after all of this, after so much tensions and back and forth and all this war of words, it will look somewhat foolish for PCB to come back to this stage.
and I can understand that if it would have been the PTI, for example, the Imran Khan regime. So the government is same.
Yes.
The government is same under Shahbaz Sharif as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So it will be an embarrassment if they eventually, at the last minute, if they pull out, because it will be embarrassing. See, what was Najam Sethi trying to do with this kind of a formula when he proposed this formula? What was he trying to do? Was it image building? Because financially, I honestly feel that it was, and it may still be, a loss-making exercise. It's financially, it's not a viable thing to do that, because who's going to pay for this? You have to understand that broadcaster, when he bought these नहीं यार, मुझे तो नहीं निकाला अभी तक नमन. Khair, so broadcaster, when he got these rights for the Asia Cup, so he was clear that the venue for this tournament will be one place, that is one country at least. So that is one thing. So now who's going to bear the expenses for the broadcaster? Najam Sethi, you would remember in that interview that he gave, in fact, I think it's been a few months now, couple of months maybe. In that interview, he said that I will, see, suddenly, anyways. So he said that I'll take care of the expenses. I'll ensure that PCB has enough money to compensate for that loss that the broadcaster may have to bear. Anyways, so but I think Najam Sethi, that very day when he gave that interview, he was, I think he had that inkling that, you know, I am on my way out. I'll tell you why. Because he was in London in that interview, I asked him, so why are you there in London? Because at that time the situation in Pakistan was very volatile. There were of course reports of riots and all these things. So and also I asked him, you know, I read a news story that some of the affluent rich people in Pakistan, what they are doing is they are just moving out to London or to England just to be safe for that duration of period. So he said, no, I have a meeting. So later I checked, I think the meeting that he was supposed to have was with Nawaz Sharif, the former Pakistan Prime Minister, who is of course the brother of Shahbaz Sharif, the current Pakistani Prime Minister. And it is also said, of course, I'm not the authority to say much on that, but it is also said that Nawaz Sharif is also actively involved. You know, he is pulling strings as far as the the politics in the country is concerned. Anyways, so because Pakistan and he had gone there to meet Nawaz Sharif just to tell him or convince him that I should stay here, that I should continue to be the PCB chairman, but because it's a coalition government, so they said that now it's the turn of Asif Ali Zardari, in fact. So it was time for him to get somebody close to him as the next PCB chairman, and it happened to be Zaka Ashraf. But I think financially, maybe because everything has to change. See, in about 4 or 5 months, their selection committee will change. They'll have a new PCB chairman.
Right.
They will have a new CEO also, and it could be, by the way, Amir Sohail. You never know, because Amir Sohail might be given a very important role in that setup. So everything will change. It could be the start of fresh ideas. They may or may not agree to what Najam Sethi has already. But now, has the ship sailed already?
I mean, to be fair, calling anything PCB related at this point, it's really a shot in the dark, because again, this hybrid model was something that Najam Sethi, I'm assuming, fought for with the assumption that he would be the one in charge once, the entire interim thing came. Because if I recall correctly,
I think he knew that.
No, I think the time of your interview, yes. But when he made this entire push, I'm sure he would have assumed that he would have been the person in charge after this tenure ended, because otherwise you're not going to take a call that big.
But I don't understand what PCB is gaining from this, because at this point we're so far into the whole debacle that it's too late to make all these lump sum changes, that because the World Cup sort of depends on this, when it comes to the ACC, all the countries involved. And who is gaining from this, right? No one, not even Pakistan is gaining from this at this point.
Exactly.
Because India, there is no chance.
For them, it will be a very embarrassing situation.
If it isn't already.
Yeah, and I know ACC. I don't know how important Asian Cricket Council is. Although I thought that it was basically a dead body. It was just that when Jay Shah took over as the ACC chairman, maybe. He pumped in some life into it, but then otherwise, because see, Bangladesh is struggling, Sri Lanka is struggling, then you have Afghanistan.
Afghanistan,
So I'm not,
Nepal.
I'm not taking into account the likes of Nepal and other countries, but major, it's just India.
Yeah.
Because Pakistan also, if they are not going to, if they're not able to host games in their own country, I think they are also financially on a weak footing. But that's one case. But is it possible? I'm saying. So basically, those who've joined us a little late, I'll tell you what we are talking about is that the next PCB chairman, Zaka Ashraf, most likely he will be the man to take over the reins from Najam Sethi. There is a possibility that, or not possible, but he is not keen on this hybrid model. He is not keen on this formula that Pakistan should host just 4 games and then the rest of the tournament will take place in Sri Lanka. So he is not too keen. But the question is he in a situation or is he in a position to now change the format that ACC has already agreed upon, and the schedule is already out. Schedule as in not the matches, but at least they have shared a press statement where they've made it clear that 31st of August the tournament is going to start. 17th of September is your final, first 4 games in Pakistan, remaining 9 in Sri Lanka. So all that. So Pakistan, the PCB, the new regime that will take over, I think they have to decide what happens. How do they actually make it happen? You know, invite all those 4. How many? 5 countries, including them. So they'll ask 4 other nations, 4 other teams to travel to Pakistan and then host those games. Then who pays for the broadcaster? Because the entire this entourage for the broadcasters also, they will have to move to Pakistan, then they have to move back to Sri Lanka. So who pays for it? Najam Sethi said that I will make it happen, I will bear the expenses for that. Now, will the next or the new regime agree to it? Then what about the gate money, the sponsorship money? How do they share? Because if I am not wrong, the last Asia Cup that happened in Dubai, UAE,
Yes.
Sri Lanka were the hosts, and I think Sri Lanka got the gate money.
They would have gotten, I think, for that.
So they
If not the
got,
gate, then most of the profits out of it, yes.
so all that has to be seen. So they'll have to figure out the modalities as to how to go about it. But that's the news that we have right now. Before we leave, I think we can take a few questions.
Yeah.
I think a lot of questions. In fact, we thought that today's dugout will be on
The Ashes.
Ashes.
Test.
That that match.
The last day.
I think lots of people are talking. How do you guys look at baseball by England that let them down in their own country and they lost the game just to show off their formula? They declared, now they've lost. That's Prashant Trivedi. Huh?
Prashant, if they didn't declare, you wouldn't have had that 5th day because there was too much of an interruption by rain. They were also aware that there'd be a rain disruption. The issue wasn't that they declared. The issue was, I think, for me, if you're asking, the timing of that new ball. Because
Yeah.
once they got carry, they should have brought the new ball on instantly. Get rid of the tail-enders by swinging it. They waited too long.
And test matches or any cricket match, I think is decided by those choices that you make. India, the Indian team, it doesn't play baseball, but still they lost because they took a few wrong calls. And of course, they were poor also on the field as a team for those 5 days. But the calls that you make, in hindsight, we can pick a lot of those moments. Maybe you never know if yesterday, what if Ben Stokes would have taken that catch?
Right.
Then what? So, everything is justified, and in hindsight, when we have that luxury, we can look back. The good thing about England is that they are not going to change that mindset.
That's true.
They've lost one game, there is a possibility. You never know. Maybe they might just go on to lose the entire series also, and a lot of people will come up and say that, you know, what is this baseball? Now the first time that they've been tested by a top cricketing nation, and they've lost. So, you know, I think what they've done is because Ben Stokes, he insists on those flat tracks,
Yeah.
and they do not have an out and out pace bowler. There is one, but Mark Wood, I think fitness is an issue with him. And Jimmy Anderson, if you don't give him conditions,
Then he's not going to be Jimmy
exactly,
Anderson.
he doesn't have that kind of pace. And this Duke's ball, it you know, it takes time to reverse, because you have it has extra glaze. If you see, it is shinier, more shiny than your SG ball. So it has extra glaze, so it takes time to reverse. With those flat decks, I think you are just restricting the ability of your fast bowlers also, because, you know, they have somebody like Pat Cummins, who is a very good bowler when it comes to line and length, but he is also he's also you know, quick. Then you have somebody like Mitchell Stark also sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think they missed a trick but yes, that call of not taking the new ball and persisting with the Joe Root, I think suddenly, you know, it seemed that England will win that game with 54 needed, just 2 wickets in hand, and Pat Cummins and Nathan Lyon were batting, and suddenly that margin of victory, or that deficit, was
Kept
brought
coming
down to
down.
37 with those 2 sixes and a couple of runs that they got. So you have
Yeah,
to.
I think when it comes to baseball, it's a great initiative. I think it's so gutsy from England that, you know, it's I wouldn't say it's revolutionizing Test cricket, but then you're getting to see something very different and very brave from English cricket, and I don't mind it, honestly saying. But when we look at the declaration, I think it's somewhat set them 40-50 runs behind than what should have been the ideal,
True.
you know, target. And then a second point being the flat pitches, because you're not giving your bowlers any support whatsoever. And when you have someone like an Australian team in front of you who can bat through, you know, anything, you need to have something that is going to, you know, support your bowlers. And then those 6 dropped catches.
Yeah.
And also, if you're going to persist with flat tracks that deteriorate, then you might need a second spinner in the team.
And imagine you had to get
Moeen
Moeen
Ali
Ali out of his retirement.
Yes.
And so you saw the state of his finger.
Oh.
Jesus.
So I think that also. So I won't say that that was the only reason why they lost that game. That, of course, I wouldn't have liked. I would have preferred them to continue, or even because they were left with just 4 overs on that day in the first game. Anyways, Yash S. Kandkur is asking, is Virat becoming the captain, Test captain again? Well, there is a thought, because you have very limited options, because you would remember that there was a story, or there is a story floating around that Rohit Sharma may not travel to the West Indies for that tour. Although I don't think so. I think Rohit Sharma should and will go to West Indies for the Test series. Even if it would be his last Test series. Of course, the call has to be taken by him. I will not take that call, or the selectors. He will decide his future as a Test cricketer. But yes, there is a thought, school of thought rather, that thinks maybe Virat Kohli is the apt choice, and you can groom somebody like Shubman Gill under him. And also, you know, if you need a stopgap arrangement, then you also have Ajinkya Rahane. Because see, KL Rahul, because there was a succession plan when it came to captaincy. KL Rahul was seen as the next Indian captain, future Indian captain, but he is now not part of your 2 squads, Test and T20. So that's the current, and 27th most likely on 27th of this month. 27th, today is 22nd, 21st.
21st.
Yeah. So in 5 days time, hopefully you will have your team the squad for the tour of West Indies. Acha, yeah. Ashish Kumar guys in MPL. I got
Maharashtra Premier
yeah. I got initially I got confused.
Yeah.
So a new guy named Arnish Kulkarni has came into limelight. Who's also batting. He's a pace batting all rounder. What's your opinion? I actually saw just a few clips of his batting. I couldn't keep a track of his batting that day because although everybody was talking about, in fact, I spoke to a few of my friends in Mumbai who keep a close watch on Maharashtra Premier League. Yeah, he's a bright prospect, young. I think in that game he got a century and then picked up 4 wickets as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Does he play for any domestic?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
So
and MPL is mostly
Maharashtra.
domestic players or players who are up and coming.
Okay.
So Prashant Trivedi, everybody is saying Virat should be made the new captain. I'm just saying check just
Rohit record.
Rohit's captaincy record, how many has he actually lost?
but how many has he played?
Exactly.
See, I'll tell you, if you go by records, I think Virat has been your best test captain. You'll have to admit.
That's true.
He's won games everywhere.
Yeah.
So that way you have to, and for Virat also it will be a challenge because at that time, people expected him to, if firstly the proposal has to be made and then Virat has to accept it.
Yeah.
So this is just,
Entirely hypothetical.
yeah, not hypothetical, this is a thought.
Floating around.
Exactly. Nobody has asked so far. Nobody has said anything to anybody. So let's hold our horses. Is Ishant Sharma going to West Indies? Akash Bhardwaj is saying. Akash, I don't know if he's going for that tour, but one thing I can tell you is for the last couple of days he's been training. He's been training with Red Ball, and maybe he's been tipped off. Obviously, when you pick somebody, you
them.
especially selectors, at least ask them, are you fit? What are you doing? So maybe if one of these senior guys, maybe Shami or Siraj, if they are rested, you may need an Ishant Sharma there. Anything else? यश सिंह, यश मेरे सोर्सेस कुछ नहीं कह रहे हैं दोस्त. मेरे सोर्सेस ये बोल रहे हैं कि 27th को आपको टीम हो सकता है वेस्ट इंडीज़ की. यू विल गेट योर टीम फॉर द दिस थिंग. एंड एज फार एज स्केड्यूल इज कंसर्न, ICC हैज़ टू टेल अस because BCCI has already submitted the draft schedule of that ODI World Cup. Although it took time, and maybe there are not reports, but Pakistan, of course, they have a few reservations on traveling to on playing in some particular cities. Of course, one is Afghanistan playing that game because spin friendly.
Chennai.
Yeah, so they don't want to play. So I don't know even if that has to be accepted. They'll have to see because I think Chennai, India are playing twice there in Chennai.
If I'm not wrong, yes.
And then you also have the 2 semi-finals there in Chennai. So you'll, or maybe not. Maybe I think India will play just one game, anyways. So yeah, but that schedule will come any day. Don't worry. I think maybe by 27th you are right. Yash. In 2023 World Cup number 4. Who?
Who can be batting?
Who bats for us at
okay,
number
normally
4?
Shreyas Iyer. So, but he's injured also.
Yeah, you can have Shreyas Iyer. You can have KL Rahul.
It will be 5 most likely.
Yeah. If you want to promote KL up the order. Chalo ji.
Okay, AJ Iskon is saying Indian cricket has reached a condition where one test ago we almost retired. Wait, what?
And almost retired Ajinkya Rahane is now a captain contender.
Okay, Gill was nowhere 3 tests ago. Turmoil, only Pant and Virat deserve to be in the team, I guess.
As captain says.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, see, Pant, I would agree with you, but we don't know anything about when he's making a comeback. So, it would be very unfair to him, burden him with that responsibility from now itself. So,
Yeah,
the guy start playing first.
Right now, I think it'd be more than unfair to expect something like that out of Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
It just
And the sad reality is we don't have a succession plan. Or rather, the one we
Exactly.
had was kind of
gone.
blown to smithereens.
Gone out the window
yeah.
Yeah.
YV is asking, do we have any prospective fast bowling all-rounders for tests?
No.
Beyond Shardul Thakur? No. He's your best option, which says a lot.
We'll just have to go back to the domestic circuit and find bowlers, but then the Indian management isn't too keen on doing that sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear captain from what I hear. Krishna is here.
I'd love to know what he's hearing.
Chalo.
I think that's it.
It's already 8.
Yep.
I thought that we'll do a. Anyways.
Yeah.
So that's the news. I think we'll update you as and when things do change. But as of now, the Asia Cup officially is going to happen in Pakistan and Sri Lanka. But what we are hearing is that the new Pakistan Cricket Board Chairman Zaka Ashraf, he's not too keen on this formula where you have the same tournament in 2 different countries when they were officially given the hosting rights. So, anyways, do like, share, and subscribe to Sports Today. We'll update you with all the news and updates.